Well, good afternoon, folks. So, I don't know how you're getting on with this kind of remote learning stuff, but I realised the other day that I had not left my house for 2 days. I think Monday I might have taken the bins out, Tuesday I literally didn't cross the door. So, today's lesson, we're going to get out and about. So here we are, out for a little walk. See the backpack on my back, I had to go down and get a few vegetables, so I thought I may as well plan a lesson at the same time. Now, you can see here I'm walking up here by Scotlandstown Wood. Nice little bit of a walk. So we're going to try and see, can we do an evolution lesson while getting a bit of fresh air at the same time. Now you know from our last lesson, I've been walking for the last hour and a half, I'm really going for it here. From our last lesson, the animals have different kind of variations. So this might be the kind of bird with a long beak going down to get into a certain flower. It might be a mangrove tree that can sacrifice one of its leaves with salt so it can live near a salty ocean. But we're going to look at ones in our local environment. So our goal today is to find 3 different kinds of adaptations, probably plants, maybe animals, along the way. Now, on cue, I've just reached this lovely tree. So if I have a look at this tree here, what we're going to see is we have a lot of ivy on it. Now this one's dead, so I can nip up a bit to the next tree, which you can see just ahead of me here, and we'll have a closer look at it. Okay, so here we are, a little bit of a closer look at our next tree. Now, if we look at this ivy here, one of the things plants need to do is they need to get sunlight. Now, you can either grow big and strong, like these little bits of grass here, trying to grow nice and strong, or you can hitch a ride on something much, much, much bigger. And that's what ivy does. So, its key adaptation, and if you look at the ivy closely here, I'll tear a little bit of it off, is that it has these little kind of sticky feet. Okay, you can have a little closer look at it there, but it sticks to the tree and it can climb up it. So it doesn't need to produce its own strength, it piggybacks on the tree. Sometimes you can see them a bit more clearly on the thicker pieces of it. Other types of ivy have hooks, okay? Different ways of solving the same problem. Okay, so I'm a little bit further up the hill. You can see where I am here at the entrance to the water site. And as I walk up along here, I've begun to notice something a little bit unusual on the ground. Now, let's come down here and have a little peek. So what I noticed as I was walking along is that the moss tends to grow quite a lot down along here, a load of it along this piece of the here, definitely a lot in there. And as we move up along here and kind of come out of the shade of this, I see less and less moss. So there's something about the moss that doesn't like this space. Now if you think of it, as we look up the hill here, Prospect is on our left and I'm looking directly south. So what we find is the moss likes the shade. And if you come back down to here, this is a little north-facing shady area and it's delighted. So the moss has been able to adapt to living in damp, shady places in ways that other plants haven't. Right, so this is the part nearly up to the top of the hill at the M50 bridge. You can really get your heart right up now and clear off all the cobwebs of having sat down indoors at a desk for God knows how long. I think if I remember correctly, it feels about 7 months. Now, I spotted a few ones along the way, but I want to try and vary this up and show you a few different things. But what I will give you a hint at is look at weeds. Weeds are always quite an interesting place to go. Well, here we are, all the way up top of Stocking Avenue. So, not sure if that's going to be flipped for you guys or not, but again, we can see all the way out over our city on this rather grey day, to be honest. But the nice thing is, it's mostly downhill from here. Right, well, as I'm coming down the hill a little bit here, I can come up to these plants here, and it's worth taking a little moment to stop. If we have a look at these guys, you can see on camera there, this is a very distinctive adaptation, that lovely spiky spine. Oh, not so lovely if you fall into it. Okay, why do you think that's there? What does that help? And if we move along, it's always interesting comparing things. We can actually move backwards a small bit, and you can see a fabulous example with this blackberry bush here. Okay, much bigger, clearer spikes, much further apart. Alright, again, why would those two plants who live very similar have adapted in a different way? What might the closer spines and the bigger, stronger spines protect against? Now, as we continue our little walk down, you might notice all the flowers along me are kind of distinctive, okay? They're not just disappearing into the background, they're really popping out and they're lovely. Why are they lovely? Now, I did mention a little bit earlier on that weeds are worth having a look at. And as I spotted, there's a nice little weed all the way down here. Okay? Now, they've also got to evolve to not get, destroyed or knocked out by humans. And one thing is, if you ever try to help someone pick these weeds, this guy here, it just breaks off and it leaves the stem in the ground. And this makes it much easier for it to survive. Okay folks, so I hope that's given you enough ideas of the kind of things we want to look at here. So remember, our class today has 2 goals. 1, get out and about, get some fresh air, enjoy the world outside you. Maybe bring your mum or dad, maybe bring your dog, your little brother or sister. Maybe you just need the headspace by yourself. We're going to get out and do a little bit of a loop. So there's a lovely 5k loop around Knocklyon, past the school, Woodstown, Stocking Lane, back down by Prospect. This is a great one, or depending where you live, you might have another walk. I want you to find 3 examples of an adaptation. Okay, they're probably going to be plants, in fairness, but they might be an animal along the way. Now, I'd love it if you could find me one that I haven't showed you. Okay, and if you want to get the other ones, that's fine. When you find them, look at them as if you're a scientist. Examine them, look at the details of it, and try and understand it. You might do a tiny bit of research when you get back, but this is more of a field exercise. Get out there and find all the bits and pieces. I'd like you to take a photograph of each one. Okay, so you have 3 photographs coming to me, and in the text of your assignment, you can just tell me what you think those 3 adaptations are. All right? Have a great time. Get out, get some fresh air. You'll feel much better about yourselves.